Love between humans is just not easy. And without great examples or education about emotions, communication, sex, and what keeps love alive, it's too easy to be disheartened, settle, or give up on what you want most. I believe you can have the love and intimacy you want. And having coached thousands of people on their love lives for over 20 years, I know what love can be for you. So I'm bringing you people who share vulnerably about their dating and relationship struggles and how they learn to create the most connected, fulfilling, and exciting love and sex of their lives, so you can have it too. If you haven't yet taken the quiz to see what keeps you from having the best love and sex of your life, go to shanajamescoaching.com/quiz. You'll get a personalized report of your strengths and challenges in the 5 crucial areas that lead to your most fulfilling and exciting love and sex life. Go to shanajamescoaching.com/quiz to find out. Welcome to this episode of Practicing Love. I'm your host, Shana James. So excited to be here today with Adam Cohen Aslatei, the CEO of 3-Day Rule, the fastest growing matchmaking company in the US currently. And whether or not you are dating or in a relationship, this is going to apply because we're going to talk about love from a couple different angles, and especially love and AI. And Adam and I were talking a little bit before the episode, and so interesting, the potential for AI to actually help us love better and return to a kind of love that is slower and more present and more available. And so I'm really excited to hear how you're using AI, both, in matchmaking and supporting people to love better, and also tips and great ideas you have for people who are dating. So welcome, and thank you so much for being here.
Yes. Well, thanks so much for having me. I'm so excited to dig into the nitty gritty of dating in 2026, I guess. We're heading towards a whole new year.
Yeah. You're the fastest growing company in the US right now. And I believe that's because you're doing dating in a way that is authentic and real, and it's really supporting and serving people. So tell us a little bit about 3-Day Rule.
So, we do dating differently over here. We think about it as what we call relationship wellness. And it's this concept of dating. And I've been in the dating world for almost 20 years. I started in grad school. I built my own dating website for the grad school. And I never in a million years thought that 20 years later, I'd still be doing this. But truly, it's a labor of love. I love bringing people together, connecting them for friendships, for work opportunities, and especially for love. That is my favorite of all time, because they say when you connect people for love and you get one marriage under your belt, you're going to heaven. So hopefully that works.
You're like, what's the Jewish word for it? Not a yenta. Is that what it is?
Yeah, I mean, maybe. Yeah, something in that area.
You're going to heaven, no matter what.
I'm going to heaven, and but truly, this company is so different from so many that I've worked for. I've built dating companies, I've sold dating companies, and now I run 3-Day Rule. And the approach that 3-Day Rule uses is quite different. So it is a traditional matchmaking company in the sense of, you sign up, you have a matchmaker. We have over 60 different matchmakers and dating experts at the company. Yeah. So what we try to do is to match you correctly internally first, because if you don't connect well with your matchmaker and your dating coach, it's going to be very difficult to find you love. And so we don't only give you a matchmaker, but we give you a dating coach. And I think some of the secret sauce in terms of how successful we are, or why we've been so successful, is because we really truly lean in to this concept of coaching.
I love it. And I would love that, right? That's exactly what I do with people. Yes.
And I think that so many singles, I don't want to say they overlook coaching. I don't even think people know what coaching is. And I always think about it similar to back in the day, bad breath. We never knew these things were problems until someone said, "Why does your breath smell?" And then we start to become self-conscious.
Then the deeper issues, right? That, there's the external, but I think what I find with most of the people I work with is there are ways that we've learned how to love or how to experience what is love, and they aren't always aligned with reality, right? Like we can feel loved sometimes when we're being, strung along, or when there's anxiety and drama. That can feel like love to us, but that's not actually going to get us a healthy relationship.
So this is the challenge. I always say that dating is a true skill. And when you go to high school, when you go to college, you're learning, your brain is growing and you're learning all these great skills and you're applying them to your everyday life. And then you get into the dating world, and who's teaching us how to date successfully? The good and the bad with dating apps, there's so many people at your fingertips. That's a pro. The con is that we've been treating people like they're material objects, like they're disposable.
Yeah.
And we've been trying to build a bear to perfection. And, build a bear is fun when you're a kid building a bear, but in the real world,
I love your build a bear. I had written an article once where I thought about it like coffee, right? It's like you can get a half calf, half sugar, this, that, whatever latte, right? Like we can now customize our coffee. And then we start to think, oh, I can customize this person who I'm about to be in a relationship with. Yeah.
And I think now, in part because of dating apps, in part because of the media, we don't spend the time and the work and the effort that relationships require. When I built my first dating app and launched it, it was called S'more. And we did this focus group and we asked singles who were in their 20s, what's one of the most important features for you in the dating app? And they said, fast to onboard, fast to use, and then something that's going to get me into meeting someone in the real world.
Yeah.
And I said, well, what's how much time from a download to a match do you think you should have? And they said about 60 seconds. Like right when I download the app, I should get a match. Right. So the expectation is just volume and quantities of people and quantities of stimulation. And that is like literally social media. It's Instagram, it's TikTok, it's Facebook.
So many people are so disappointed, right? And just it's like broken because of the speed that we're used to. And, the
endorphin rush. It's the endorphin. It's so detrimental to your mental health.
Yeah.
To having gone through years of being on these apps, being rejected, being objectified by so many people, and your worth is based upon matches and likes. Is that really who we've become? And the reality is, unfortunately, yes. But now is the time. I think 2025 was such a turning point. So many of people in my generation were saying, okay, now it's been 10, 12, 13 years on these apps. I'm still single. They don't work. And I think that there's been a resurgence and a new interest in matchmaking. Yeah. And if you ask your grandparents, it really, truly works.
The matchmaking of our parents' generation was you like tennis, he likes tennis, right? Or you play piano. It was so superficial. And now people are wanting so much more depth and intimacy. And I'm seeing you work to create that.
We're sort of like your community leader, community matchmaker, or pastor who's matchmaking you in a much more exaggerated way. We have a gigantic network of people who have come to us and said, I want you to match me. And so today—
and this is part of where AI comes in too, that we're going to get into in a few minutes, right? And using both that huge network plus the added advantage of AI.
100%. So, just on the traditional side of things, 3-Day Rule has 250,000 people in our network that have already been vetted. We have ways of proactively going out and finding your people and bring them in. So today you don't have to pay $10,000 to get a matchmaker. You can do it now on our 3-Day Rule mobile app for a fraction of what it costs with significantly higher connection rates, better than any dating app out there.
I love this. Can you talk a little bit about the 3-Day Rule principle? What is the 3-Day Rule for people who don't know?
Yes. So at 3-Day Rule, we have a 3-day rule approach to successful dating. So if you email me, adam@3dayrule.com, I can send this to you. But basically, we have a guide of what you should be doing the day before, the day during, and the day after the date in order to achieve success in dating.
Awesome.
So the day before the date, you want to create an outline, a narrative about who you are and what are 1 or 2 stories that you want to share about yourself that articulates who you are. You don't want to go into a date with 27 questions and this become an interview. You want to have a narrative. And what is your narrative? Who are you? Are you a loving, caring person? Are you a family person? Do you love sports? Create a narrative about yourself that showcases the best qualities of yourself.
I love that. You're also speaking to what I often say. People have their superpowers, right? And they are unique. I often used to write it as, if you are a tall, thin person trying to wear a short, wider person's pants, right? It's not going to look good on you. It's not going to flatter you. So if you're trying to be a Don Juan, but actually you're super funny or kind of even, nerdy and geeky and all those things, right? You got to highlight what's unique about you to find someone who's going to be a fit for you.
So that's key. That is literally, and I think that's one of the reasons why dating apps have not worked so well. When you go on these dating apps, oftentimes you're creating a persona in a way, like an alter ego of maybe who you want to be when you're dating. So you're taking on a different persona that maybe compensates for what you lack in the real world. Well, the reality is eventually you get on a date and you're dating someone different from who you met online. And this is one of the biggest problems with online dating. It's catfishing, but maybe unintentionally. We are developing these personas that we think are going to help us get on that date. And when that date occurs, there's never date number 2 because date number 1 was so awful.
Yeah. Okay. So the day before, you're creating a narrative and a story. What about the day of?
So the day of your date, you're trying to get into either a zen or an energetic state. So depending on your personality, sometimes you may go into a date with a lot of anxiety and then you want to create a zen moment for yourself. So how do you get to zen? What do you do to relax? And this does not involve taking shots. We truly want to relax your mind.
You want to be conscious.
Yeah, relax your body, relax your soul. For me, it's working out. I love going to the gym. I love getting away from work, getting away from life, and taking an hour for myself. Yeah. For some people, it may be meditation. For some people, maybe playing with a dog or dancing. Whatever you do to feel calm is great. There's other people that are very low energy personalities, and that's not a bad thing. Just in general, you're not the loudest person in the room. That's obviously not me, right? I don't have that problem. Sometimes you need to energize yourself. You don't want to go on a date and be a bore. So get yourself excited and jazzed up for the date so you show up like you're happy to be there.
What I'm hearing you say is it's not like you're trying to be someone you're not. You're just actually getting yourself ready to engage with someone and really show up in a way that they get to know more of who you really are instead of the parts of you that are scared or awkward or worried about what's going to happen.
100%. And I think that the mental mindset is so important. And so many people over-index on how do I look on this date? Am I looking perfect? And they don't really focus on the mental part of it. I would say the most successful dates are you're focusing more on the mental rather than the physical. You still want to be comfortable in what you wear. I agree with all of that. But you need to know what you need to get out of the date. So not only the narrative that you want to share about yourself, but what do you want to know about that person? What's really, truly important to you? So I always say, when you go into a date, look for 3 things. If you can find 2 emotional qualities and 1 physical attribute that you find attracted to that person and no red flags, you should go on a second date. Right. So now that's also part of our 3-day rule. So now when you're on the date, this is day 2, you're actually now on the date. Our guidebook of the 3-day rule, Guide to Successful Dating. The day of the date is very much about the act of listening. And I know that for so many people, we roll our eyes when we say actively listen to a person because it sounds basic, but do you know that communication skills is the number 1 reason why relationships do not work? It's communication. It is the number 1 thing. So when we roll our eyes at these things.
So many people, I mean, there's so much love, right? And yet then we get stuck in communication, which we could break that down for a long time about what's underneath the communication and the words and all of that. But it's so true. And my current partner, I knew he was an amazing person. And I decided that I was going to date differently, that I wasn't going just for flash or charm, or I was actually looking for partnership. And if someone's not looking for partnership, that's fine, right? You can go for whatever you want. But I really decided if I'm looking for partnership, then I'm going to actually be with someone or check this out and not get distracted by this needs to be a flashy thing. So so I'm loving what you're saying too. It's go on a second date unless there are red flags. And if there's some way that you feel even a spark of emotional connection, don't just set something down, because the first date can be really awkward and scary for so many people.
And the thing is, it usually is. It usually is pretty awkward. So I would say, unless it's a train wreck or there's red flags, try a second date. It's usually much better than the first. So that, again, when you're on the date, once you have the narrative about what you want to share and what you want to learn from the other person or about the other person, it's usually 1 or 2 things you want to learn. The active listening part is truly about being in the moment and engaging in that conversation. When I have a narrative about myself, I'm expecting the other person to ask questions. Oh, what did you mean by that? Oh, I also can relate to this because X, Y, and Z. It should be a true conversation. So try to ask questions about their story and try to be hopefully caring and intrigued by it. If you're not, then maybe they're not the right person for you. But try and ask those questions to show that you're interested. And the day number 3, in terms of the third day for a 3-day rule, is we don't want you to make a decision instantly. Oh my God, I want to date this person. I love this person. This is my person. My heart's fluttering. I can't imagine being without them. In most cases, ladies and gentlemen, it's called lust.
Yes.
We're lusting, our heart's palpitating. It's not a bad thing, but it doesn't mean that you found your person. It probably means you're physically attracted to that person.
Yep.
And so it's worth probably going on a second date, but why don't you sleep on it?
Yeah.
And you can text the person and say, I had a wonderful time. It was so nice to get to know you, et cetera, et cetera. I'm very much for that. Wait, sleep on it. Wait until the morning and then take your piece of paper, take your pen out and think about what are the pros and cons of this person. So they were emotionally connected to themselves, to their family. They're ambitious. They want to have maybe kids. They have a great career. They live in an area that I care about, et cetera, et cetera.
No, not getting swayed by the lust part of it and actually see what else is there beneath that. And
look, the pheromones would be a pro. Physical attractiveness is for sure a pro. But if you're over-indexing on that and realizing that this person has no job, they have horrible values, but they're really hot and they're attractive. Okay, so here's my issue. Because if your goal is a long-term relationship and you're lusting for this person, but they're really truly not of the values, it's not, at this point, we don't need to do that. Yes. Because that can open up a whole can of worms that we don't need to get ourselves into. Yep. If our goal is a long-term relationship, we need to act with discipline.
Yeah.
So let's find them attractive. Let's find them emotionally attractive as well. And then let's plan a date number 2.
Deeper qualities. Yeah. It wasn't until I got divorced that I had this aha where I was like, oh my gosh, nobody ever told me that love, lust, and partnership were 3 separate dimensions, right? And love and lust are so much easier and so much faster to feel or not feel. Partnership takes so much more exploration to really discover, right? Do we want the same style of life and pace of life? And how would we relate to having children? And what are our financial views? All those things, it takes a little while to get to know. So I often tell people, time also, right? You don't have to make a decision like, this is my person and now we're committed and da-da-da-da-da. You can actually give yourself that time to get to know a person and see, are we actually a fit for this?
100%. And when you think about matchmaking, we want to make sure that they're not only checking out on paper, but that we actually think that there's a strong personal, emotional connection between you and that other person. Yeah. And this is why matchmaking as an industry has a success rate of about 80%. Wow. Dating apps have about a 9% success rate.
Amazing. Okay. Can we talk about AI and dating and love? So I know that you're using more AI in your matchmaking. And one of the things that we started to get into just a little bit was how AI can start to true us up, right? And start to help us see, are we deceiving ourselves? Is there something that we're saying we want that we don't want? That was one of the things we covered. But what are you seeing? How is AI supporting us to come back to an even maybe deeper, more authentic love?
Well, a lot of these dating apps are adopting AI features because AI is just the buzz right now. All these apps are on the decline. Singles know they don't work. They've been using them for so long. And so the way that they're using AI in these dating apps is very rudimentary, very basic.
Okay.
3-day rule. We're a matchmaking company and we think about your entire relationship journey. We actually launched an app to mimic what matchmakers do. We didn't build a dating app. We built a matchmaking app. And there is a stark difference here. On a dating app, you are self-selecting people who you think are good for yourself based on qualities and characteristics that are very basic.
Right. And that you're, gender, like you said, you're looking for those surface level characteristics.
You're filtering yourself into looking at a bunch of people that have, there's no personality traits in there that are really filterable and also that are verifiable.
Okay.
Everything is self-reported and it's very basic pieces of information and you're trying to filter your way into that. A matchmaking app is about the matchmaker understanding who you are as a human being.
Yeah.
Everything emotional about you, everything physical about you, and everything emotional that you want in someone else, and everything physical that you want in someone else. So on our app, you are not going to see people on our app. You are going to be chatting with voice. You're chatting with a voice like you would with a matchmaker, and you're talking to them and you're telling them the story of Shana, the story of Adam. And we're going to ask you over 150 questions in long form. And as you're giving answers to our questions, it's not, do you prefer red or black? We're going to ask, you're going to give you situations. We're going to put you in situations and we're going to say, what would you do in this situation?
Oh, this is so
what would you do in that situation? So we're trying to understand how you operate. So we understand your emotional intelligence and how you can connect to someone else emotionally.
Yeah.
So we're going to ask you all these amazing questions and you're going to give us answers. Now, as the AI is listening to you, we developed the AI to create a personality that was reflective of yours. Knowing that every single person has a different personality, this is not going to sound like Siri.
She doesn't get it. No. Yeah.
She doesn't get it, and she's Apple. Our AI is sophisticated because we've built it. It took us 2 years to build, and we've used 15 years of our own data in the AI. This is not off a shelf. This is built custom for us. Yeah. And so we know what questions to ask you. Now, here's the thing. Yeah. Matchmakers know when you're not telling the full truth.
Yes.
And if a matchmaker asks you a question, asks one of our clients a question, and feels like, not so sure I believe what you're saying. I think you may be telling me what I want to hear, but not what's truthful. The AI matchmaker can pick up on your tonality change in your response. Yes. And if it feels like you are not giving us the full and accurate answer that we're looking for, it's going to ask you that same question 2 other ways within your experience on the app. And we're going to look at all 3 responses and see if they're consistent or not.
Okay.
That is
so there we also know, like, then the people that you're being matched with or the people that you're going to interact with, they're also being trued up, right? This is where I'm saying, like, AI can bring us back to.
We've created a lie detector essentially in the app.
Yes, which is amazing. I think that's what most people struggle with in online dating is these people are not who they say they are.
That's exactly what it is. And so the reality is, if you're telling us a version of you that is not the full version of you, it's going to be very difficult to find you love. Yeah. And this is the precise reason why dating apps don't work. We don't actually know very much about you at all. We just know who you find attractive on the app based on hot or not. Yeah. So we don't really know anything about you and we're still trying to match you. And again, 9% success rate clearly has not worked. No. But with this matchmaker, not only are we getting this long form information, but we understand your tonality and we can understand if what you're saying is accurate about yourself or not. Yeah. Yeah. Then once we have these conversations, we create our own bio about you that we know people will find compelling. We create the bio, we stick it in your bio and we say, we've already created a bio for you because we know so much about you. What do you think? And you could edit it if you don't like it. We can edit it. Okay. But we know what to lead with. And why that's important is because most bios are very generic. And again, if you like tacos, long walks on the beach, and you're so nice and you love fitness and you love like random words, it's not going to differentiate you between you and someone else. No. So we're creating unique bios that showcase how you're different from the other person, not what keeps you similar to the other person. Yeah. So then what happens is the matchmaker then knows all the stuff about you, knows all the stuff what you're looking for, and has conversations with every other person on the app. Then it brings you back what it thinks could be a match and convinces you why you need to talk with this person. And it breaks it down one for one why that's a match for you.
What do you mean convinces you why?
It justifies, Shana, you need to meet James, and here's why. James also wants a family, also is Jewish, also lives in New York, also said that they went to this school for high school and played volleyball.
And does it go deeper into like the values and the alignment that's deeper than those surface characteristics?
It goes into as much detail as you gave us. We're going to come back with you with exactly that same detail. Great. So, and that's the important part of it here. We need to be able to know enough about you to match you on that deeper level. Yeah. So when we get into the emotional intelligence, so once we connect you two, you might say, I'm not sure I like this James person. Yeah. And then we're going to say, are you sure we think that you should double check. It's worth having a conversation with James. If you don't like James after, you can let him go. But
Yeah.
if we think we found a good match for you, we don't want you to say no. And a good matchmaker will never let you lose a good option.
Yeah.
Dating apps, not so sure.
And then I would imagine after that, if they do say no, you're going to ask why, what is it about this person? And then you get to keep learning who they are and what they want.
And that's what it is. So the matchmaker will then say to you, tell us why specifically that you were not interested in this person. We'll gain that information and we'll help them on the next time around. I think in most cases, the photos that people use on these apps tend to not be the most amazing.
Yeah.
And so as part of the white glove matchmaking solution that we provide to our clients, we actually give everybody a photo shoot.
Oh.
Okay, so now you're in the app. So Shana likes to meet James. Okay, cool. Now you're connected and now we stuck you in a chat. So you're having this amazing conversation. We've developed a wing person, wingman, wing woman, wing person, whatever you want to call it, inside of the conversation.
Amazing.
So now knowing all this information about you, knowing all this information about James, as you have a conversation with him, we're going to suggest ways that you can respond to James that is very specific about you and what we know about James. And it might say, hey, Shana, tell James what you told me about your high school crush and why that was such an important love for you in your life. And so that gets the conversation really going to a point where you feel like you know that person, and then you go out on these amazing dates.
This is so fascinating. This is why I can still see the need for human dating coaches, because AI is incredibly beneficial in this way and also could support people to get to know each other and feel connected when they might not, right? If they might just write something that's not very unique or whatever. And I can see we've got to also help people have that kind of connection and have those conversations for the long term, not just in that moment. But I love this because it's like, okay, we know these things about both of you, and let's, put a little plug in here or a spark in here to get this conversation going, and in a way where you two are actually going to get to know each other instead of just drifting away and missing that opportunity.
And most conversations start with, hi, hey, what's up?
I was just going to say that. Most of my clients are like, oh my God, someone just wrote.
What do you say?
Hi. Yeah. You're like, no,
what do you say?
It.
How do you say? And these apps are giving you icebreakers that are so generic that it's boring. So we don't need to be generic because we know so much about each person. We're going to be actually the opposite of generic. We're going to be very specific in this case. And the app also has another feature, which is an AI dating coach. So aside from the matchmaker that's asking you these questions, vetting people and bringing you matches, there's another mode, which is coaching mode. And the coaching mode helps you. So in coaching mode, we created this AI that is fed with podcasts, our own literature, our own philosophies on coaching. So you can ask it any dating or relationship question about communication, conflict resolution, sex and intimacy, what to do on a date, who should pay, who should pick who up, is sex on the first date okay? You can use our AI coach as a companion to dating in the real world, as a companion to any other dating app. In bad situations, you might have had a horrible encounter with someone and you might want to report it to a person. And so having this AI date coach empowers you to have the answers when you don't have, Shana James beside you who can tell you and coach you in real time.
I love that. It's pretty mind-blowing. I'm curious what you see, if we just take it out of the matchmaking world for a moment and just focus on the love piece. What's your sense of what's possible as we start to integrate AI into our love lives and be more known and understood by each other?
Look, I think that there's the side that's a little bit scary and sketchy. We've all seen that movie. I think it was called Her, where someone.
I just rewatched it a couple of weeks ago.
You basically fell in love with a fake person, which was, it was weird for sure, and it was also from 10 years ago.
Beautiful. It was weird and beautiful, right? I mean, there were so many amazing things about it, and it is scary to know. Where's this going to go?
And it taught this so this person, the sketchy part is that you fell in love with someone who wasn't real, but the cool part was you learned how to date. You learned how to love. Yes. You know what I mean? And so when you understand that dating and even loving someone, sometimes you need to learn those things.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's not second nature.
Yeah.
Look, I
I
have
think
people in my
most time it's
family.
not second nature.
Yeah, it is not. And men and women are built very differently, and you put them together. Women are expecting the men to have emotional intelligence that are at their level, and some guys do, and some guys don't.
Yeah.
But doesn't mean that he's a bad guy, just he does not know. So how do you learn? How can you learn to become a more loving, caring, emotionally connected person? You 100% can learn that skill, but not unless someone's telling you, hey, you're not emotional, you're not connected. He needs to know, and then he needs a solution to help him. So AI can be that solution for so many singles out there.
Yeah. I love it. I'm just thinking too how oftentimes when I'm coaching someone, I'm supporting them to be more honest and to ask for what they really want, right? Instead of just being like, ugh, I guess this is all I get, or I'm going to settle for this, even though I want something more deep or I want something more connected. And I think the more we know ourselves and the more we learn and grow, whether it's from AI or from real live people, it's an upward spiral. There's going to be more connection, more intimacy. And even if the dates don't work out, I think people are going to learn and grow so that the next one becomes that much easier, right?
I think also, with coaching, I believe that we're going to be less focused on, does this guy check all my boxes? Does this girl check all my boxes? Because what are these boxes?
Yeah.
They're ways of categorizing human beings, and we are not meant to be categorized.
No.
We're just not.
No.
We are so layered and we're so complex. Is this guy? So we have clients that say, I don't want to date guys that are outdoorsy. I don't connect with outdoorsy guys. Sorry, what does that even mean? Yeah. I don't even understand. You don't need to go camping with the guy. He can go camping on his own. Camping is not an indicator for long-term relationship success.
Right.
And so when we start getting in our heads about things that we don't like or traits that we don't like, you're not going to be connected at the hip. You still should have. If you want to have a successful relationship, in a heterosexual or heteronormative relationship, the woman has her own life going on. She has her own career going on. She has her world going on. And so does he. And they evolve in parallel and support each other.
Yes.
That is the best case scenario. So if the guy likes football or camping or RVing or whatever it may be, and you don't like those things, that has nothing to do with this relationship working or not. And we get we get stuck on these details, which are so irrelevant for the time.
I think people are thinking, because it seems like there are so many options, I don't want to go outside my neighborhood, or I don't want to go outside my personality type. We have been trained to think we can have that person who matches us exactly. But I think love can often happen in these surprising ways or places, right? Because it's a deeper connection than just what we do or where we live or what we choose.
100. Yeah. And I think the distance is one that really, truly bothers me, because if your soulmate, and I do believe in soulmates, but I also believe you can have multiple soulmates. I don't think there's just one. I think there's probably many.
Yeah.
If you're limiting yourself geographically, you're limiting yourself to love, because your person could be in another city, could be in another state. And it just so happens that my partner was from New York here on a business trip, and we connected and we figured out 2.5 years of being long distance.
Amazing.
And then I moved to New York, and that was my person.
Yeah.
And there are so many stories that I hear about this. Or, I was attracted to this athletic type that was X, Y, and Z, and I ended up with an investment banker who was such a nerd.
Right.
What does type mean? It's really, how comfortable do you feel in that relationship? How connected do you feel with that individual? And are you growing together? If you have those things, your type, your physical type will change. I believe that this distance locator that we're focused on, because of dating apps and because dating apps use distance, we've become hyper distance focused, and we're missing the better connections.
Which is so interesting, because now we do have the capacity technologically, right, to be connected around the world. And so maybe that is another beauty of AI here is, it's going to help us find love no matter where it is in the world. And then we get to see, sometimes it is hard to make it work if you're parenting or doing all these things, but that there are more options and deeper options and ways to find love than we've realized.
I have two things that I have to make sure I get off my chest here, because one thing is about relationships. And when you're dating someone, oftentimes with this dating app culture that we've been accustomed to, it is so transactional. It's one thing goes wrong and I run away from the other. I run away from the relationship because in your mind, you don't need them. These apps tell you you're in control of your destiny, which sounds great, but makes us treat people in a way that's not so great.
No.
And so when conflict arises in a relationship, you need to deal with it. It's a growth moment for a person to deal with conflict.
Yes,
Life
I love
has
it.
a lot of conflict. When you have conflict, you're sort of like breaking something down and rebuilding it stronger.
Yes. And that's the only way you actually know if a relationship is going to last long term is how do we actually deal with this? And can this person show up and be, loving and caring with me, or do they just make snap judgments and run away? Right. And this is where I come in, I think, because I think AI can help us to a certain degree. But once we get into some of those deeper triggers and patterns, right, we need some more than that. But we've got to be willing to face a conflict or face a disagreement. Otherwise, we don't actually know who that person is.
And this is where the grass is greener where you water it. And so when you start to understand that, I just had this conversation with my partner and they said something nasty about my mother. I'm over it. I'm over him. Or they said something nasty about myself or my clothes or whatever. Good people do bad things. Good people can say bad things. Does not mean they're not a good person for you. You need to build that communication muscle. You need to exercise that muscle, and you need to understand you need to be watering that relationship for it to grow. Because if you think that you're just going to continue to run to the next person, to the next person, to the next person when there's conflict, you will not be in a relationship. So you've got to be watering the relationship. And the other thing that I know that we want to talk about before our time's up is, it's holiday season. And we're in the holiday moment right now. We're meeting with family members, we're meeting with friends, and then we have these New Year's resolutions. So for the holiday season, I have a few tips for what is called cuffing season.
Okay.
Think about this. So guys, gals out there who are single, cuffing season usually happens from late October, early November, like Halloween time. And it goes through February, March timeframe. And cuffing season is when you connect with people for the cold months. And people tend to connect with each other because they don't want to be single during the cold months of the year.
Yeah.
Ironically, November and December are also breakup season. So the largest number of breakups in the year happen in November and December because we don't want to bring bad relationships, broken relationships into our family dinners, family functions. So we're breaking up with all these people, but then it's also cuffing season. So quickly after we break up, we just get with the next person because we don't want to be alone.
Yes.
And it's cold outside, so we want the fireplace. Okay. So cuffing season doesn't have to just be about connecting with the next person so we're not alone and cold. It could also end up being a great relationship starter. So when you think about cuffing season this year, I want you guys, you singles out there who are single and not in relationships and truly looking to connect in the winter moments. Know what you're looking for. So yes, it may be cold outside. Are you looking for a long-term relationship? Are you looking for compatibility? Are you just looking for something fun? Know what you want out of cuffing season so that when you meet that next person, you can actually align on what you truly are looking for. Are you both wanting something long-term? Are you both wanting something casual? Because otherwise you get into this negative space where the goals are misaligned. You do not want that.
And if you don't know that, and then you end up feeling disappointed by someone, it colors your view of what's possible for you out there. And so really knowing I am going to be with people who are aligned with me makes so much more sense than I'm just going to settle for someone to, be a warm body.
So the first thing is know what you're looking for and make sure that other person has it. Number 2 is be intentional. Don't just connect with the first good-looking person you see, because if you're going to connect for cuffing season, you're going to be with them for a long period of time. I think if they're just hot and don't have anything else going for them, it's going to be a real drag on you personally, professionally. Great. It is not worth a snuggle. Believe me, go get a bear, go get a pillow, not worth it. Number 3, join a matchmaking database. So companies like 3-Day Rule, you're able to join our network for free. So if you go to 3dayrule.com or many other matchmaking companies, you can join the database for free, and you should always be throwing your hat in the ring.
Amazing.
Number 4, say yes. So it's cuffing season and you're there to meet someone, to hang out for the winter time. Cool. So if you want to hang out with the right person, you need to meet the right person. So you need to be in the right place. So you know that holiday party that's happening in your lobby, which you never went to because you don't want to meet people in your building.
Yeah.
Go.
Go.
Go to your building holiday party. Go to your work holiday party. Go to your friend's holiday party. Go to as
Create
many
your
of
own
these.
holiday party, right? Do things and show up in person.
Do a Friendsgiving and have all of your friends bring a friend, or do a Christmas party or Hanukkah party or whatever party and have everyone bring an extra friend, or do a singles
My
party for
favorite.
Christmas where
Yeah.
everyone's bringing another friend for somebody else. Number 5, try AI matchmaking, because AI matchmaking is very economical. It's not a dating app. It's the human element that really is the reason why it works versus a dating app. And number 6, check in with yourself. So let's say you did meet this, person that was cool at a party and you hooked up for the cuffing season. It does not mean you need to be with this person for 3 months. If all you care about is how casual and how fun the sex is, then that's what it should be. You do not need to be moving this person into your home, sharing them with your friends, sharing them with your family. Keep it what it is.
Keep it in the bedroom. Don't bring it into the rest of your life.
Don't bring it into your living room.
Yep.
Just a bedroom situation. Know what it is, know what it isn't, and be smart about it. I mean, that's really holiday dating. And I will also say, so many singles are going out shopping. When you're shopping for the holidays, it's also a really good opportunity to meet so many people. Your guard is down, you're buying presents for others, and it's sort of like a magical time of the year. So when you're in line, mix and mingle. When you want to buy a sweater, ask for advice. It's a perfect opportunity to meet someone new. And the best way to meet someone new is to start off with a compliment. It goes a long, long way.
I love it. Thank you so much for being here and for talking about dating and matchmaking and AI and how we can love more and better and learn more. This has been an awesome conversation. Where can people find 3-Day Rule? What do you have for them?
Yes. So you can go to 3dayrule.com and you can sign up into our network and find out about private matchmaking, which is our white glove service. Or you can go to the App Store and type in 3-Day Rule and download our AI matchmaking app. It's the only AI matchmaking app built by matchmakers, 60 of them, and it took over 2 years to build. So it's pretty cool. And you can also find me on Instagram at Adam Aslatei, or you could email me, adam@3dayrule.com, and I'm happy to share more of our white glove service with you, or more of our dating and matchmaking application with you as well. And yeah, happy holiday dating. Good luck in 2026. Try something new. If what you've tried in the past hasn't worked, don't do it again. Do something new. Contact me and let's find you some love in the new year.
I love this. And I really look forward to see where this is going, where AI matchmaking, and I have a good feeling about this, that people are actually going to be able to find more love and keep it alive.
I love it.
Yeah. Thank you. I'm so glad you joined us for today's episode of Practicing Love. I hope you enjoyed our conversation and gained insight into yourself and your current and past relationships and inspiration for what's possible. If you like what you heard, I'd be so grateful for you to subscribe and write a quick review to help people find us. If you'd like more support in your love life, be sure to get your free copy of my best-selling book, Honest Sex, at shanajamescoaching.com/free. That's shanajamescoaching.com/free. And we'll see you next time.